Hello, and welcome back to the coronavirus update video number 32.0. Today's date is Thursday, the 16th of April 2020, and welcome back to all the previous listeners that you have been coming back every single day at 4 p.m. I really appreciate it. And anyone who is new, we've had over 500 people in the last 2 days, new people subscribing to this page. So if you're a new member and this is your first or second video, welcome to these videos. It's basically myself, Adrian Cockings, doing a bit of research myself on the coronavirus situation here in Spain, as well as my wife in the background doing a lot of the translation as well from the Spanish news into English, any Spanish documents from the government official websites, translating and making sure we're all up to date really. So welcome to my daughter's nursery. If you don't know, this is my baby girl's my baby girl's nursery, and I do these videos every single day at 4 p.m. just to keep you updated on the last 24 hours here in Spain. So just like always, let's jump into it. I'm going to do up my button there so I don't look like Simon Cowell. Okay, so let's jump into it. At the start of every video, I like to do a quick rundown on the statistics and the numbers on the infected, deaths, etc. in Spain. So we'll jump into that first. And as of today, Thursday the 16th of April, there are 182,816 people infected, and this is 5,183 over the previous day. Now, I put this statistic out this morning, and of course a lot of people were talking about, well, why is it so high? The other previous days it's been 2,000, 3,000. Well, yes, I predicted that this was going to happen, and I said that this is going to be happening because of the quick tests that are coming into place now, and this is going to be in homes, for example, residences, nursing homes, the doctors and nursing staff as well, the health service are all being tested as well. So yes, the majority of these tests will probably come back positive. Maybe they're doing tests at the moment of people who have symptoms, but of course haven't been counted. So now that they are getting the quick tests done, yes, these numbers are going to go up. So someone actually put in the comments today, we can actually start looking at percentages between all of the different statistics. And yeah, I kind of agree with that. As long as the recovery rate is still going up and the death rate is still going down, I think the whole lockdown has actually done its job. It's meant to be making sure that the health service out here is not bombarded with so many cases. So yeah, I think that's actually a good thing here. But it's still high, yeah, definitely a high number, but I predicted that this was going to be happening, and what I do like to do is definitely look at the recovery rate and the death rate. So as of today, there are 74,797 people who have recovered from the coronavirus, and that is almost 4,000. That's 3,947 over the last 24 hours. So a great number as well of the recovery rate. And unfortunately, we do have to cover the death rates, but that is 19,130 deaths, and that is 551 over the last 24 hours. But the bigger scale, not just Spain, there has now been a reach of 2 million worldwide cases of the coronavirus, but the recovery rate is just under 500,000 as well. So this is great numbers to see on the scale of recovery rate. I know 2 million is quite scary. But yeah, I think what most countries are doing, especially putting in lockdowns, I think it's been effective. But we'll just have to see what happens over the next couple of weeks. Okay, so next couple of things that I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to talk about, first of all, some fake news coming out. Well, not necessarily fake news, but misinterpreted news, and also some scams that have been going out as well. And I have talked about this in previous videos as well, of what has happened in the past. So we'll start off with fake news to start off with, okay? Now, there has been a lot of news going around, specifically from a couple of news organizations here in Spain, but they have basically been saying that the hotel industry here in Spain and the coast are going to be closing completely until 2021. This is not true. Now, again, it's the way that they write the headlines that actually creates the scaremongering, where the headlines is majority of the people, when they're scrolling through Facebook, for example, and someone shares this, they read the headline, and that headline is actually what sticks into their head. And the majority of the time, they don't even click through to the article. They see that, and then automatically it's, wow, this is kind of... So the article that was sent through is basically an article what has been happening over the last 48 hours or so with the hotel industry, and of course the Association of Hospitality have been chiming in as well and doing a lot of conferences, etc. And basically what they are saying at the moment, with the way things are going at the moment, the hospitality service and the hotels, restaurants and stuff like this, if they do not get enough reservations, it might not be worthwhile for them opening up. However, this was just one or two different hotels saying something like this. This is not a whole community saying this. This is not a big franchise or anything like this saying this. It's just one or two hotels or owners of hotels basically saying, well, this is looking very, very bad for us. We might as well lock up until 2021. Again, this is no government official saying anything like this. So for the news article to read that hotels are closed until 2021, it's very, very risky to put something like that. And especially if you've passed this on as well, it's very risky because that is actually not the correct information, okay? So when passing on information like this, the best thing to do is, of course, read the article, make sure what is actually said can be true. And the way you can do this is just Google it and make sure their sources are actually true. So, for example, all of my sources that I'd like to get most of the information from, they're coming from government resources, government official pages, and any official websites. For example, BOE. This is the official website where they release a lot of the decrees and the documents as well. I get most of my information from there. So the bit, I know it's all in Spanish, but if someone else can translate some of this, then it's all good. But always look for if it has been released from a government official website, okay? Also, some other fake news, which we talked about this over the last couple of days, and I'm still getting sent this, is that Spain is out of a lockdown. Again, no, nothing like this has happened. We are not out of a lockdown, and we are actually, we are still, the people, the public are still on lockdown. The only change that actually happened was on Monday, and the only difference was some workers can start going back to work. That's it. And the majority of the industry, for example, if you're going to factories and builders, constructions, lawyers, architects, they're all allowed to go back to work, but they have to keep to strict precautions. And in fact, they've been advised that if you can telework, as in you can work from home, that is the advice to still stay at home whilst this is still going on. But of course, there's going to be some industries, for example, when you're going into construction, electricians, plumbers, self-employed workers such as this, yeah, they do have to go out and they do have to work, but they have to follow, of course, certain protocols. I've talked about this in previous videos, so I'm not going to go into this now. If you want a bit more information, watch yesterday's and the day before and even Monday's video, because that'll give you a bit more of an insight into who can work. So, no, we are not out of lockdown, but that was over the last 2 or 3 days or so. But the news that I've actually been looking at today, and actually a couple of people have sent me some articles from Belgium and the Netherlands, and again, they basically put it across to me that a lot of the news, and media in other countries are very spiteful to Spain, and it's getting very, very hard because I've seen it in the UK as well, where a lot of these media and news organizations, they are pinning a lot of the focus onto Spain. You know, every hour or so, it's 180,000 people infected, 180,000 people infected. It's worse cases than and again, it's all about Spain, when in actual fact they should really be focusing on their own country. If they've got positives, they're brilliant. Look at the positives about what is happening in your country and what is working and what is not working. But I think it's very, very hard for another country to then start putting blame or start putting focus on another country, where in actual fact Spain, it thrives on tourism, and for them to then start, putting all of this negativity and all of this harshness into the minds of someone, well, maybe they want to buy or maybe they want a holiday in Spain, but now they're going to be put off. So I think it's horrendous that something like this, someone living in Spain and working in Spain, seeing these news organizations putting so much blame and so much hatred into Spain, I think it's horrible. I really, really do. So what I'm trying to say is basically, if you see any of this information coming out, don't forward it on. Don't even give it a like, because this information, it damages countries and it damages the economy. The news and the media can affect so much. So please be very, very cautious when you're reading articles and passing on articles as well. Try and get the truth before you actually pass it on, okay? Okay, we'll move on to scam. That's my rant over. We'll move on to scam. And yes, there's been a lot of different scams going about at the moment. And a lot of the scams are actually online. Of course, we're at home, so a lot of people are going to be on the internet quite a lot. And you'll probably notice that on Facebook recently, they are using geotagging, these scammers. They're using geotagging of where you are, for example, if you put a location on a photo or something like this, they will know where you are, as in the country that you're in, and automatically they will start pushing ads to you. Now, the adverts that have actually been coming out is, of course, coronavirus tests. These home kits that you can buy for something like $17 or $20 for a home kit or something like this. Do not go to these websites. They are not going to be trusted websites. They have not been funded by any government resources or anything like this. This is probably going to be something that is a test, but maybe not the coronavirus test. So it's not going to be accurate whatsoever. You never know where these are coming from. You never know if they have been passed through the actual test to see if they are functioning or not. So again, if you see any adverts like this, do not click on them, okay? This goes to the same for masks as well. A lot of people have been asking about where we can get masks and buy masks and stuff like this. Again, these websites, I would not trust them. The best resources is to go to the big websites, obviously, Amazon, eBay, but even still, try to go locally. Pharmacies are now accepting a lot of help from the government, and they've been receiving their masks in the thousands each day. So the best thing to do if you're looking for masks, try and contact your town hall, local pharmacy, and see if they have got masks available. The majority of town halls now, they're actually out and about, including Red Cross and Guardia Civil. They're handing out free masks on a daily basis, millions of masks on a daily basis. So that's what I would recommend, definitely, and try not to listen to the online adverts. But speaking with adverts on websites especially, the Guardia Civil have actually done they've been doing a lot of cyber attacking with these websites, and they've actually closed down 45,000 websites that have been offering scamming or trying to sell products that are not going to be arriving, or they're defaulted or not have the official approval. So the Guardia Civil, they've actually closed down 45,000 websites relating to the coronavirus. So it just goes to show, of course, this page still being open, I'm glad that the Guardia Civil haven't shut me down, because again, it's factual information. Okay, and the last bit of scamming that has been going around as well. A woman down on the coast of Murcia, down in Los Naranjos, I think, she was pretending to be a nurse, going around and offering kits or tests to residents down on the Mar Menor region. And of course, this won't actually be put into place by the government. No nurses or doctors will be out and about, especially if they're on their own, giving tests and giving masks. It should be by an authority such as Guardia Civil or Red Cross. That is it, okay? So if you are seeing people in white coats, maybe a stethoscope or something like that, and they're offering tests, I don't know if they were offering tests at a price or not, but this scam or something like this has been around, and we talked about this 2 or 3 weeks ago, where they're offering you certain things, and then of course they get into your house and they can steal stuff from you, they rob you. So again, you should not be allowing anyone into your house. You should not be having anyone coming to your door to administer any coronavirus tests or anything like that, unless you have, of course, rung the emergency services such as 112, and an ambulance driver, probably a team, will come and help you, okay? All right, let's move on to the next one. British Embassy. The British Embassy in Madrid, they actually made a post today, and I shared it onto this page earlier today. The people looking to get emergency flights back to the UK, back to Ireland, they posted a very, very resourceful link and a page of all the flights that are going to be going ahead, the times and airports that they're going to be going to and from. So, if you're still looking to get an emergency flight from Spain to the UK, there are still emergency flights going ahead. You should contact the airlines directly. So go after this video, go to this page, look through that chart, try and find your local or your nearest airport and see if you can actually get a flight home. Now remember, I've been getting so many messages, even today and yesterday, I've still been getting the messages about someone's partner away or working away, and they're trying to get back to Spain. Again, the only way that they will be able to come back to Spain is if they have residency or they have a citizenship. Still, I'm getting tons of messages asking, will they be able to get a flight? The answer is no, unless they have residency in Spain. Even if they are renting, even if they have their bank accounts here, it won't matter. They are asking for a residency here in Spain. The only option that I think you'll be able to do is to ring the Spanish embassy or the British embassy and see if there is a document, a temporary document that they will be able to provide you to be able to get back to your home here in Spain, even if you don't have residency. That's the only advice that I can give you with that. For anyone who is watching and you're worried about someone coming back to Spain and not being able to have the correct paperwork, the best advice that I can give you is just ring the embassies, the Spanish embassy back in London or the British embassy here in Spain, and see if they can give you some sort of documentation, okay? Moving on to travel and continuing on with travel as well. As you know, most flights have been grounded. There are certain flights that are still going ahead, like emergency flights, like I said, but the majority of these airlines are still grounding their flights until the 17th of June. They've actually started advertising these flights, but again, it all depends on whether these borders are going to be opened or not. They have put out notices saying that there are possibilities of these flights being postponed or cancelled. So again, we don't know what the situation is going to be like in 2 weeks' time, 3 weeks' time, even a month's time. So you have to bear with the airlines at the moment because, of course, they're running through everything with government officials, trying to make sure that they're doing the right thing and everything is legal too. But moving on with other transport, as I was saying, Brittany Ferries, they have actually announced that they will not be sailing any type of public ferries across from Spain to the UK or the UK back to Spain until at least the 15th of May. And this is just like the flights. Brittany Ferries are working with the government officials to make sure that what they're going to be doing is not going to be affecting any type of infection increase here in Spain. So, of course, it's the 15th of May at least, but these voyages, they could be postponed, they could be cancelled, and we just don't know what the situation is going to be like in 2 weeks' time or 3 weeks' time. So that's the announcement from Brittany Ferries there. Okay, let's move on to schools. Now, I talked a little bit about schools yesterday. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do much research because, of course, I have my little baby. And it was an off day yesterday, so I had to try and comfort her. My wife was trying to comfort her, and it was a bit of a crazy day. But I finally got all the information for schools and what is going to be happening with the primary schools and secondary schools here in Spain. Okay, so the announcements came out yesterday that basically the school year is still going to be going ahead, but it's going to most likely be continuing online and doing the courses through online means. However, some regions have disagreed with this announcement, including Murcia, and two other regions have disagreed with this. Now, I don't know if this is going to affect anything in the future, but as it stands at the moment, the duration of the school year will still continue on. And this will continue up until June. Now, normally the school year ends on the 3rd week of June. And if this is the case, it will probably be the same, maybe even sooner, okay? And this will basically be adapted to the circumstances when and as necessary, such as online classes, video calls with the teachers, and homework being delivered via internet. Now, the one thing that I actually said yesterday was about these schools covering and going into July and August, and I actually misinterpreted it, unfortunately, just with the baby crying. But actually, it's going to be volunteering reinforcement activities can be organised in the summer. And again, this is voluntarily between the schools if they want to do it or not. And this will be combined with recreational activities, but there will be no sort of actual teaching involved. This will just basically be activities for kids to be able to go and enjoy. So, of course, a lot of the companies here in Spain, they're asking their workers to continue through summer. So if this is the case, then these children will be able to go to the public schools. And moving on, and the final results, that's what I wanted to get to here. So, basically a lot of people were asking about what's going to be happening with the kids' education and their marks, basically. Well, as it stands, like I said yesterday, they are basically getting an automatic pass for the primary schools and most of the secondary school. And this means that they are automatically going up to the next year. So, for example, if someone is in year 4, they're going to be going up to year 5, no problem. Now, the only way that someone will be left behind or kept behind, this will be just because necessary. I had it written down somewhere. Exceptional measures, that's it. So it will basically be the repetition of the school year for exceptional measures, as it always has been in Spain. You know, some people have been kept behind for a year, but it's basically solidly put that every student will be an automatic pass, and they'll go on to the next year. Okay. Now the final marks for the GCSEs, the ESO, basically a decision in that any case it will be made by the faculty or the teachers as a whole. So basically are still getting a grade, as of course ESO and Bachillerato, ESO, QOTD, ESO, GCSEs, they are basically marking you, and they will be able to give you your mark through the year as a whole. So you will still be doing a lot of your curriculum activities at home. So you'll be still probably writing essays, doing homework, and this will basically be put into an overall score and put towards your final mark, which the teachers will then be giving you. So there won't be an actual test at the end of this. So that's good news there. And of course with A-levels, which is Bachillerato here in Spain, the A-levels, again, they are going to be continuing on their academic year, but what they've announced is between June the 22nd and July the 10th, it is going to be the exams put into place. So again, this is all under the circumstances that we are out of the lockdown, and of course the recovery rate is a lot higher. There's not going to be risk of people going to examination rooms. So yeah, between the 22nd of June and the 10th of July, all A-levels should be taking place, as in the tests. And basically anyone who is in any strange circumstances, they're not able to get to these exams, maybe they're in another country and they can't get back, something like this, then before the 10th will be, the 10th of September, there will be chance for these students to take their A-levels exams as well. So I hope this has helped for the schooling industry, for the schooling mothers, fathers who have kids at school and they're unsure of what's going to be happening over the next couple of weeks. Well, this information will be for them. So if you can, try and share this to someone who you know goes to a public school here in Spain. As for private schools, again, I don't know what will be happening with private schools, but they should be trying to follow a system like this because, of course, a private school does try to follow the main curriculum, the main circumstances from the government as well. So yeah, pass this on to anyone who you know works in the educational industry, so educational sector, and hopefully this will help them as well. But they should have got this result as well. Okay, and the last thing that we're going to talk about today is my highlight of the day. I tried to find every single video a highlight, a positive note that we can finish on. And actually today is someone in the UK that we're going to talk about today. Someone who is going to be celebrating their 100th birthday, and that is Captain Tom Moore. And he is a veteran that decided to start raising money for the NHS, and he initially started with £2,000 goal, and all he wanted to do was 100 laps around his nurse or his residency. And it turns out that this went viral, and he has now been awarded 12 million from this GoFundMe page. 12 million pounds that he has raised for doing 100 laps for his 100th birthday for the NHS. So big round of applause for someone I don't really know how to continue on with that, because it's someone who has lived 100 years, who has done so much with his life, and yet he's still going and continuing to fight for the NHS, for the people that helped probably save his life and help save many of his loved ones, his friends, his family. So I think doing something like that is absolutely unbelievable. Really, really nice thing. So that's definitely my highlight of the day. But that actually leads me to your question of the day. What would you do 100 times? What would you do 100 times for 12 million pounds or euros? That's going to be your question of the day. I'll see some crazy answers coming up there. Also, remember that today I'm actually going to be invited back to a live webinar with basically talking about the property market and the real estate industry here in Spain at 6 p.m. today. It will be on this page, so you can come back at 6 p.m. and we will be live. And it's actually with Beleza and Herida lawyers, and these have been organising a lot of live videos like what I do, but they actually give free legal advice in these videos, and they're talking about everything to do with taxes, rent, with cars, everything really. So if you want to join in and you have any questions about the real estate industry, or if you're in property yourself and you want to know a bit more information, I've got a list of questions that I'm going to be asking, and this will basically be going towards mortgages, what the government are going to be doing with mortgages here in Spain, about rentals, private rentals, holiday rentals, short-term rentals, different things like this. So if you guys are going to be interested in something like that, come back at 6 p.m. tonight or today, and I will be live with the other 3 lawyers, I think, today. And yeah, it should be a good video. I've definitely got a lot of work to quickly do before then, but in the meantime, remember to come back at 4 p.m. every single day for an update on the last 24 hours here in Spain. I want to thank you guys for joining in. Thank you for the like buttons. Thank you for sharing this video, because I know all the people who are sharing this video, it means so much to myself, but also the other people who have actually found me and started messaging saying, I've only just discovered you, so thank you, thank you, thank you. And that is it. Remember, 8 p.m. every single night, get onto those balconies, get into those gardens, give a round of applause for the people on the front line, and I will see you tomorrow I'll see you today at 6 p.m. and then tomorrow at 4 p.m. Bye guys.